Hello, darling.
Come on. Hello. Yes. Okay. No. You're kidding me. Okay. Yes. Okay. You should. Hello. Freaking dying here. Hello. Okay. Okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Okay, I feel like an old cell phone commercial. I swear, after all my technical difficulties lately, I was like, today I'm going to have a stream. It's going to be super profesh. The lighting's going to be great. The visuals are going to be mwah. The audio is going to be perfect. And here we go. It's another gory train wreck, but you know, whatever. You guys expect that by now. Okay, so Merry Meet Witches, I am Gory B Movie. Today we're going to be counting down, well, not counting down, we're just going to be listing a lot of the movies coming out this year and talking about which ones I am most excited for and which ones you are most excited for. Let's see. Wait, the stream's in Spanish? You guys are messing with me. What? What? The stream is not in Spanish, right? You're messing with me. Okay. Until I hear otherwise, I'm going to assume the stream is not in Spanish. Right? Right? No Espanol. Okay, thank you, Jason. Because, good. All right. I am so sorry. I'm going to cut out that whole beginning so future viewers of this just think I've got it all together. So let's see who we've got here in the chat. We've got Jason the Nice One and Brandon the Beldam, who are two people I've had a lot of great watch parties with on the members' YouTube. So I'm going to be having another one of those again soon. I'll probably message you guys and see what movie you guys want to watch. Ooh, we still need to watch Fade to Black. So we should watch that shit soon. Okay, we got Killer Kayla, Danny Nightmare. I am just so kerfluffled. I also spilled soda all over my floor, but you know what, guys? You know, it's all good. It's all good. Are you kidding? It's all good. Okay, we've got Mummy B Movie, Spooky Robin, Ariel's here, Connie Cleary's here, Jason's here. Lots of cool people here in the chat. All right. Hydration is ill. All right. Danny B Movie. Yeah. I'm all kerfluffled. So let's talk about movies. Movies that are coming out this year. I'll be honest with you guys. I don't think 2023 was the strongest year in horror. It was kind of, I feel like kind of dipped down a bit because, you know, we had some pretty strong years before that. So I'm hoping 2024 has a few more bangers than last year. Not to say that we didn't have some good ones last year. We're going to talk about that next week on a split live stream between me and Danny, where we're going to talk about, I think, the best on Horror Addicts and the worst of the year over here. Thank you, Brandon. Killer Clowns from Outer Space. That is something I'm anticipating this year. I really hope the Killer Clowns video game finally comes out. They've also been talking about a Killer Clowns sequel for forever, but, you know, we'll see if that ever happens. Alrighty, let's get to some movies. They're not in any particular order. I think I'll start with ones I'm less anticipating and move into some ones I'm more anticipating. Maybe I'll just put them in release date order. Let's see. Okay, so one of them you guys just mentioned in the chat, so we'll start with that one. Dun, 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 dun. So I just saw a trailer for this one. This one's Abigail. This one I want you guys to spend all of your monies on buying tickets to go see this as a big middle finger to Spyglass. So catching you up to speed if you didn't know already, Spyglass is the company that made Scream 5 and Scream 6. They also did Thanksgiving last year. And without getting into all the politics of it, they fired their star Melissa Barrera because of things that she had been posting on social media, which I will say from my point of view, I looked at and I didn't think that she said anything wrong. Certainly not anything worthy of getting fired. So it's a big bummer. It seems to me the reason they really fired her is because Jenna Ortega was quitting due to her scheduling conflicts with Wednesday, and they just didn't want to pay her or Melissa Barrera what they are worth. That's what I think. But that's just a theory, a gory theory. Anyhow, Melissa Barrera is going to be in this movie, this movie, Abigail, which sounds really, really awesome. So, the synopsis of this one is that this group of people are hired. One of them being Melissa Barrera. We've got the guy who was in, what's his name? All right, I'm just going to look at it. So, we've got Melissa Barrera, Dan Stevens. That's who I was thinking of, who was in The Guest. He's in it. Catherine Newton's in it. She's terrific. So a lot of really cool people in this. They are hired to kidnap this little girl, Ballerina, and all they're told is that her dad is really rich. So they kidnap her. Melissa Barrera is like, hey, I've got a little boy. If you're good, this is going to be okay. Yeah, they have no idea that this little girl is a vampire. From what I understand, she's the daughter of Dracula. So they have bitten off way more than they can chew. The trailer looks really good, though. I will say, if you haven't seen it already, don't see it, because I think the trailer spoiled a few things that I, for one, didn't want to know about. So, but, you know, if you've already seen it, then, yeah, I still think it looks really good. I want to see it. I think it comes out, does it come out next month? Do you guys know? I don't remember where it comes out, but this is definitely one I'm highly anticipating. I am going to be seeing this in the cinema. I really want you guys to see it in the cinema too, just to show Spyglass that, you know, we want to see Melissa Barrera in movies. And yeah, you vote with your dollar. So vote with your dollar. Go see Abigail. I think you're going to have a really fun time. And yeah, it lets the studios know what it is you want from your movies. Okay, what's up next? Yeah, and let me know too in the chat what movies you're anticipating, and if it's one on my list, we'll probably just skip to that one. Abigail Ariel says, I saw this trailer and it's got the guy from Breaking Bad and the star from Freaky. Yeah, Catherine Newton. I've actually never seen Breaking Bad. I know I need to fix that. Baghead Out of Darkness and Lisa Frankenstein. I actually don't know about Baghead Out of Darkness. I might have to, I'm going to add that to my ones I'm going to look up. Baghead Out of Darkness. Okay, and Lisa Frankenstein. Now that is one that is on my list. So this one looks really good. This one also has a trailer. What makes me excited for this one is I really love Diablo Cody, who she wrote Jennifer's Body. She wrote Juno. She's worked on a lot of really good movies. She's terrific. I really like her. I think she's really funny. It's got Catherine Newton in it. I think she's been great in movies like Freaky. And it's got Cole Sprouse in it, which you guys would probably know him from Riverdale. Anyway, this girl is like in love with, I think, the idea of this guy that is buried in the cemetery that she visits all the time. And he comes to life and he's all zombified. But then, you know, she starts changing as she kind of like falls in love with this guy. She gets all gothed out, which I'm all about. And I think she starts killing people to kind of bring him back. Luckily, this trailer didn't spoil too much. It showed me just enough to get me really excited. This one's going to be out around Valentine's Day. It looks like a really fun horror romantic comedy. So I am really excited. I hope you guys are excited about this one too. My mummy's in the chat. Mummy B Movie. A lot of vampire movies as of late. We're due for a really good werewolf movie. Actually, speaking of that, Brandon, there is a werewolf movie I want to talk to you about. So, like I said, we're not in any particular order. So, you know, the order I'm going in isn't how much I want to see it. I'm kind of going around based on what you guys are saying in the chat, and I think what just comes up in conversation. But since you mentioned werewolves, there is a werewolf movie I really want to see. Now, it's not like exactly werewolves, but I think it's close enough. Here, hold on. See if I can, oh, there we go. So this one is called Night Bitch. I really want to see this, and we don't exactly have a date for this one. Uh-oh, wrong window. I'm going to switch you guys over. You go over here, and you go over here. Maybe. I don't know. Okay. Let's try that. not sure why the poster's not working. Anyway, this one's called Night Bitch, and from what I understand, it's based on, I think it was a novella. It might have been a full novel. I haven't read it yet, but it's supposed to be really good. And it's a woman who's a stay-at-home mom. She's raising a toddler, and then she starts to realize that at night she's turning into a dog. And she's like, killing animals. I think she's going after people. So she's a dog, not a werewolf. But I've heard that the book is really good. It's got Marielle Heller for a director. Amy Adams is supposed to star in it, and she's terrific in everything. So I think it's going to be really good. Let me see if I can get this poster for you guys. Alrighty, let's try this. There we go. So here's the poster for Night Bitch. It's exactly the same as the book cover. So this might change as we get closer to a release date, but it is said to come out this year. We just don't have a date for it yet. I do want to read the book before it comes out. It's supposed to be really good. And I'm all about movies that are about, like, motherhood and horror and shapeshifters. So I think this is good. I hear you real good. Well, thank you. I'm so glad that you hear me really good. That makes me pleased because do 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 do. Okay, that should work. Okay. Okay, it should be back now. Yeah, so I hear my sounds good and I start touching the microphone and I mess it up. So, yes, what have we learned here? Don't touch the microphone. So, it looks like we're good now. I normally have it plugged in the back of my computer, but I messed it all up today. So, anyway, we're back on track. Technical difficulties. Okay, it should be all great now. Next one. So, Jason mentioned a few. I'm going to go back to Jason's comment. Oh, here it is. So imaginary, that one I'm not sure about. I will talk about how I feel about it though. So let me look that one up. So here's my problem with the imaginary. One, I've been in like a less trusting place with Blumhouse as of late. Blumhouse did give us Megan last year, which I really enjoyed. But, I've heard Night Swim's terrible. A lot of the ones recently have just seemed kind of a little cash grabby. The Insidious, The Nun, they haven't been great. So imaginary, I really like the concept of this idea of an imaginary friend. And in the trailer, they show the little teddy bear that becomes a really big monster. I don't really recognize anybody who's in this one. Here's my issue with it. It's directed by Jeff Wadlow, and it's like, Jeff Wadlow, dude, you've done me dirty. He did me dirty with Truth or Dare. He did me dirty with Final Fantasy. I will say I really like Cry Wolf. Unpopular opinion there, but I do like Cry Wolf a lot. And he directed Kick-Ass 2, and I like Kick-Ass 2. So, I'm honestly, I'm probably going to see this one at the theater just because I see just about anything horror related at the theater, unless I hear that it's really bad. So with this kind of movie, just because Jeff Wadlow makes me nervous, I'm probably going to wait a couple weeks after it's been out and just see what other people think. And if people like it, then I'll probably go see it. But I'm going to let somebody else take that bullet for me. But let me know what you guys think of Imaginary. The synopsis on this one is this girl moves back into her childhood home, and her youngest stepdaughter, Alice, develops an eerie attachment to a stuffed bear named Chauncey that she finds in the basement. And that is... She starts to realize that it's not just an imaginary friend, that it's just all kinds of bad. So that is Imaginary Friend. I don't know. It could be good, but I'm leaning towards it's probably going to be bad. That's my thought. But, like I said, I'm being pessimistic. So what else you got here? The Strangers Part 1. This comes out on my birthday. So The Strangers Chapter 1, I have to see this because it comes out on my birthday. So, yeah, I know what I'm doing on my birthday now. Where's my poster? No. Nope. Okay, let's see if I can show you guys the poster for this one. All kinds of things today. All the things. Okay, so we've got Strangers Chapter 1. Looking at this one, it's going to be the first of 3 chapters. Are you guys still here in the chat? Okay, I can see you guys now. Does my microphone have its own mute button? It does. It's plugged in someplace where for some reason if I touch it, it unplugs it, but I'll fix it. Talking about movies is thirsty work. So Brandon says Night Swim isn't as bad as people say it is. So I'm going to stream it, but I am going to see it. I mean, I thought it was an interesting concept. I'm probably going to, I don't know. Imaginary depends. If it comes out in streaming and the cinema, I'm just going to stream it. Late night. Oh, yeah, I want to talk about that one too. All right, but first, let's talk about The Stranger. Well, did you make this? Well, Jason mentioned it. Strangers Chapter 1. So I liked the Strangers Pray at Night. I thought that was really good. I like the original Strangers. I actually like Pray at Night a bit more. This one, it sounds like the first movie they're doing with Rennie Harlan is basically a remake of that original movie we had. What am I drinking from, Mummy? It's a little ghost face. Hey, Cal-El. And Mr. Flickster. Anyway, this first Stranger sounds like it's going to be a remake of that first movie almost exactly. Well, not exactly, but this couple's car breaks down in the Pacific Northwest, where I live, so they might find me, and they're forced to spend the night in a secluded rental, like an Airbnb kind of thing, and then they're terrorized. So from there, from what I understand, it's going to be very similar to what we got in that original film, and then we're going to get a sequel also this year, Chapter 2, with the same actors, and then Chapter 3. So this kind of reminds me of what they did with Fear Street a couple years ago. Those were released weekly. I don't know how frequently these are going to be released, but I do know all 3 of them are going to be released this year. It's got Madeline I hope I'm not butchering her name. Pets. Anyway, Maddie P is what we're going to call her. She's in it. She's from Riverdale. I haven't seen Riverdale, but I hear she's good. So I don't know. I like the Strangers. The whole home invasion concept is something that I find really scary. So I think this could be really good and really scary. Cal-El says, Pray at Night was a surprise. It was a love letter to the horror slasher genre. Really enjoyed it. Seems like they could get one more movie out of that. I really liked it too. It got kind of a lot of criticism when it came out, but I thought the colors in it were great. It had that amazing soundtrack, and it had something that the original didn't have, and that's why I rank it a bit higher. I really liked the characters. I really thought they were interesting and they were really trying to help each other and they weren't stupid. I'm not going to say that the characters in the first one were stupid, but they didn't do anything to help themselves. They just sat there. They just let themselves get killed off, and it's so hard to watch that movie because they make all the wrong decisions. They never once really fight back. Whereas in Prey at Night, it was nice to see them get a few licks in. So I really hope we get something like that with Strangers Chapter 1 too, because it's like wrestling. I don't want a squash match. Uh-oh, there goes my mouse. What's inside it? Spooky juice? What's spooky juice, Mummy? This is Diet Dr. Pepper. But if things get really crazy, which honestly, I feel like, I don't know, is Mercury in retrograde? I feel like all the technology hates me right now. So as a backup, I got some wine. Because, you got to have wine within arm's reach. I'm not sure if these are going to be straight to streaming, the Strangers movies, but I don't know, maybe. Ariel liked Night Swim. Well, now you guys are making me think maybe I should go see it. Yeah, I agree with that, Cal. 5-star matches. Okay, so what's the next one we're going to talk about? I was going to show you guys the posters for these, but I'm having some difficulties with that. I don't know. Let's try this again. Yeah, we're not having any luck with that. All right, so we're not going to have pictures, but you can just hear me talk about it and visualize the pictures in your brain space. Here's what I just want to talk about. So here's the thing. I didn't see Terrifier 2 in the cinema. Why didn't I see it in the cinema? I really wanted to see it. It's because I live in a really small town in the middle of the Pacific Northwest. And we don't get every movie here. And so, unfortunately, I didn't get Terrifier 2. But you know what we did get in my podunk town? We got Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey, y'all! It did not deserve that much hype. It was terrible. But Danny and I went and saw it because we wanted our theater to continue to buy independent horror movies. So even though we didn't enjoy that, hopefully it means that we get like Terrifier 3, which would be fantastic. So yes, I saw Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. It was awful, but I have no regrets. No regrets. Anyway, Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey Part 2 comes out, and it's by Reese Frake Waterfield, same guy who did the last one, the same guy who's doing the Bambi horror movie, the same guy who's doing the Peter Pan horror movie. He's got a bigger budget this time. So if you've seen the images online, the last one kind of looked like a mask for Pooh. This one, I mean, it's an upgrade, but it's not a great upgrade. They've got more characters. I know we're going to get Tigger and Owl in this one. But based on the last one, I'm not expecting much. So unless it comes at my theater, which I gotta support it. I gotta go see it. Then I'm probably going to skip it. Skipping it. But let me know, are you guys going to skip it? Are you going to see it? Spooky Robin says, I will not be seeing Smile 2. I thought it was boring. I really liked Smile. So I know they are working on a Smile 2. So when that comes out, I'm definitely going to go see it. Someone just mentioned one that I wanted to talk about. Ariel. Ariel talked about Witchboard. So that is also on my list. I actually saw Witchboard for the first time recently on Joe Bob's Last Drive-In, which that has been approved for another season. So I'm absolutely going to be watching that this year. I'm live tweeting it with everybody on X because we don't have another platform. But this one's going to be directed by Chuck Russell. Chuck Russell also did The Mask, Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, and The Blob remake. So I think he's got a pretty good track record. I mean, he also did Bless the Child, so, but everyone's allowed. Okay, he also did Scorpion King. Everyone's allowed two. Chuck Russell, you're allowed two. long as he gets this Witchboard movie, right? But I'm not super tied to that original. I thought it was okay. It's not one I grew up with or anything, so it's not gonna ruin my childhood. But I do want to see it because it was a movie that had a really cool concept that I think could be done better. And I think that's honestly the best reason to ever remake a movie. Don't remake ones that people already love. Like, you don't need to remake A Nightmare on Elm Street. The original still holds up. It's amazing. Why don't we just leave it alone? Let's just leave it alone. But Witchboard, yeah, that can be improved upon. That absolutely can be improved upon. This one's got Madison Eisman in it. Oh, I've seen her. She's in the Jumanji movies. And Fear of Rain. That's one I really liked that she was in. And Jamie Campbell Bower. He was in that Mortal Instruments movie. So yeah, I'm probably going to check out that one. I don't have high hopes for it. But I mean, in my opinion, it can't be any worse than the original. Let's read the synopsis here. So Emily and her fiance Christian discover a mysterious Wiccan artifact. Well, now I got to see it. I got to see it. It's a Wiccan artifact. Like, they never just mention Wicca in movies. So I gotta see it. Gotta represent the Wiccans. Okay, so they find it in New Orleans, French Quarter. A darkness descends over Emily as she becomes obsessed with the power of the board and the ability to summon the spirits. And Christian seeks the help of Alexander Baptiste, a mysterious occult expert who's hiding secrets of his own. So yeah, already, synopsis, boom. You've already done better than the original, which is kind of a bland movie. So I'm now stoked. I have now stoked the excitements. And so Chuck Russell, the guy who's doing Witchboard Mummy, he directed the Blob remake from the 80s, which is, I think that's great. I love the one from the 50s. And there actually is another Blob remake in the works. There's also another Maniac Cop in the works. I don't have dates for those, and those are ones that have been kind of tossed around a lot. So I don't expect them to come out this year. But if you guys have heard more word on that, let me know, because those are ones I'm interested in. Oh, bless the child. It was so awful. Let's see. Ariel's birthday's in March. April, Abigail. And then May, Strangers, and my birthday. Jason hated Blood and Honey. Yeah, it's terrible. But I'm going to see the next one. I'm going to. Why? Why are they remaking it again? I don't know. I mean, I don't have that many Blob movies in my life. So, I could get down with another Blob movie. I mean, even if it sucks, it doesn't take away the two Blob movies I have that I really like. And then Son of the Blob, which, it's a movie. Robin's birthday is in March. I like my birthday in May because then I can celebrate my birthday at Crypticon Seattle. So that is pretty cool. Okay, let's see what else. Okay, maybe I should save this one for last. So this one's probably my number one of the year. Let me see if I can get better posters for you guys. Here, I'll answer this question. Somebody asked me what my thoughts are on Chucky season. Did you say season 2? How about season 3? I'll talk about season 3. So we got the beginning of Chucky season 3. I really like this one so far. I like Chucky season 2. But I think Chucky season 3 was even better. So I'm pretty excited about that. I'm pretty excited to see the rest of Chucky season 3. I think we're getting 4 more episodes. And those are supposed to come out sometime soon. So that's cool. Oh, no. Don't move me. Don't move me. Move this thing. Ah, I see what's going on here. All right. Okay. So we can have some visuals. The technology, guys. The technology is not my friend. Okay, you know what? That's going to work as soon as we get a poster for it. So what movie were we talking about? Oh yeah, we're going to talk about this movie. If I can get a poster for you. I'm going to look it up. And then we're going to get the poster. It's just not meant to be, is it? Nope, it's not meant to be. Okay, so we're going to talk about Maxine, which honestly doesn't have a poster anyway. We did get a teaser trailer for Maxine. This is probably my most anticipated movie of the year because it's still Ty West. It's still Mia Goth. I thought X was terrific, and I liked Pearl even more. So with Maxine, these movies all have this kind of theme of somebody wanting to become famous, and then they also have tie-ins with the porn industry. And I think it's been really creative how Pearl tied into that, even though it was set in a much earlier time period than X, which was in the 70s. Maxine's going to be set in the 80s. And it says 6 years after the Texas Porn House massacre, Maxine is now LA-based and on a driven quest to become a star in the acting world. But things take a sinister turn when bodies once again begin to fall around her. Maxine has the worst luck. What I really hope we get in this movie is, in X, we found out at the end of the movie that the preacher who's been on the television, like the evangelist who's on the television, is her father. And that she escaped from him, that I think, he had a very she had a very controlling childhood. So I'm interested in exploring more of that and getting to know her character more. I also wonder, the killer in this, is this out of nowhere? Is Maxine crazy? Is she killing people and not knowing it? Is it connected to maybe X or Pearl somehow? I would be really curious, to see how this all ties together, because I think it's going to tie together. So I think that's pretty exciting. Mia Goth's being sued over Maxine? I have not heard that. Jason's birthday's in December when Nosferatu comes out. So let's talk about Nosferatu. The Nosferatu, I know there's a couple Nosferatu remakes that have been in the works for a while. The one I know that's coming out in December of this year is the one by Robert Eggers, who he did The Witch, he did The Northman, and he did, what's the other movie? The Lighthouse. He did The Lighthouse. So obviously Nosferatu it was originally kind of a German different adaptation of Dracula with Max Schreck in it. It's super creepy. It's one of the best silent films, if not the best silent film of all time. And we haven't really had a lot of good Nosferatu takes on the Dracula story, aside from there was that one with Klaus Kinski that's pretty good. And then there's Shadow of the Vampire, which isn't really quite the same as what the making of Nosferatu, but it's pretty good. But this one says it's a gothic tale of obsession between a haunted young woman and a terrifying vampire infatuated with her, causing untold terror in its wake. So what I think Robert Eggers does really well, he does atmosphere so well. If you watch The Lighthouse and The Witch especially, those movies are just dripping with atmosphere, and he's so creative in the way he films his movies. Everything he does is so intentional, from the aspect ratio to the lighting to, the choice to go black and white. He really truly is an artist. So I'm really excited to see his take on this, because I think what made that original silent film so special was this atmosphere and this mystery. And it's got Bill Skarsgård in it, and I just think he's so underrated. He was so great in Barbarian. I first saw him when he starred in Hemlock Grove, and of course we all know him as Pennywise in the It movies. So I think he's really, really talented, and I want to see him in more things. I just think he's just a special actor. It does also have Lily Rose Depp in it, which I don't know. I didn't see The Idol, but I heard the not great things about it. Nicholas Holt's in it. I really like Nicholas Holt. He was in Renfield this last year. Aaron Taylor Johnson, Willem Dafoe, love him. So, and I feel like Robert Eggers, I mean, I trust him. If he hired Lily Rose Depp for his movie, I'm sure she's going to be great. I haven't seen her in a whole lot. You know what? I did like her in Yoga Hosers, so we'll see. We'll see. Gonna catch up with what you guys are saying here in the chat. Jason is also looking forward to Maxine. Ariel says, I should watch Pearl and X before I go see Maxine. You absolutely should. You absolutely should. Zigma wants to know what movie my curly-haired tarantula Cuddles is looking forward to. She's not looking forward to any because she just likes to sit in her burrow all day. But Poe, my Grammostola pulchra, he's my all-black tarantula, and he's pretty cool. He wants to see Nosferatu, too. That's what he says. Oh, wow. Wow, Mia Goth, don't get canceled. You know, she is married to Shia LaBeouf. I'm just going to leave it at that. Spooky Robbins, looking forward to Alien Romulus. Let's talk about that. So Alien Romulus is another one on my list. So this one was a lot higher on my list originally. I know it's on this list somewhere. Where'd it go? Ah, there we go. It just came out with a new poster. It is directed by Fede Alvarez. So Fede Alvarez, he did the Evil Dead remake that I really, really like. I like it. Honestly, I like it more than the original Evil Dead. I know that's blasphemy. I really, really like it. It's a movie I can rewatch all the time. I love the soundtrack. I love the performances. I love the characters. For me, that one just really hit. So I like Fede Alvarez. I liked Don't Breathe. I think he's really talented. And it says a group of young people are on a distant world to find themselves in a confrontation with the most terrifying life form in the universe. Spoiler alert, it's xenomorphs. So the poster of this one is so weird. It's a xenomorph, like a weird looking xenomorph touching a baby. Don't touch the baby. So here's the thing with this one. I was really excited. They were showing some production behind the scenes pictures of this one. I was really excited. I trust Fede Alvarez. And then I watched the trailer. And now I'm not that excited. I just background on this one. I love Alien. It's a 5-star movie for me. It's one of my favorite movies. Aliens is a 5-star movie for me. One of my favorite movies. I like Alien 3. I like Alien Resurrection. I truly hate Prometheus. I hated that movie, and I hated Alien Covenant either more. I thought those were both terrible, especially Alien Covenant. At least Prometheus, I thought it was a little up its own butt. I thought it was a little pretentious, but I appreciated that I thought it was at least trying to do something new. It just wasn't for me. Alien Covenant, it just was so... And forgive me for saying this if you loved it, because a lot of people did, but for me, it felt really cheap. It felt almost like a slasher movie. It just didn't feel right. It wasn't scary. It was weird. And, of course, it had all that weird backstory that was passed over from Prometheus. So this new one, I don't know. I didn't really like the look of the aliens in it. It felt like they kind of shoehorned Sigourney Weaver into it. I'm not sold. I'm a little nervous now that I've seen the trailer. It just didn't look special, and Alien and Aliens are both so special. It kind of had that Alien Covenant quality to it. Maybe it's because of the weird looking xenomorphs, but something about that trailer just kind of rubbed me wrong. But I'd like to hear what you guys think about it. And moving on to Mummy B Movie says, Salem's Lot is my favorite vampire story. I did read Salem's Lot last year. The book. I will say I thought I was going to like it more than I did. A lot of it's really outdated. I mean, granted, this was written in the 70s, but all the characters are dudes. They're kind of... there's a few standout ones, but the ladies in that story didn't have a whole lot to do. So I'm really excited to see the new Salem's Lot movie. I liked the miniseries that Tobe Hooper did. But the new Salem's Lot movie, they actually changed, I know at least one of the characters they made female, which I think Stephen King could have done that with that one, with the book, but he didn't. But But yeah, there's a lot of talk about Sue. Like, her whole purpose in this is just to get married and stuff. It's outdated, but it is creepy. It's really, really creepy, and there's a lot of things in it that I that kind of stick with you, like how the priest, he's changed at the end, and he just goes off into nowhere, and you don't hear about him again. I guess he turns up in one of those Dark Tower books, but it is really creepy. And I think what's really special about Salem's Lot, it's this small town in the middle of nowhere. You know, like one of those towns you drive through on your way to the big city that you just don't take any notice of. If it's quiet, you're like, well, it's a small town. And that's what Salem's Lot is. It's a small town nobody cared about, nobody paid any attention to. And unbeknownst to all the cities around it, it becomes completely overtaken by vampires. And there's no help or hope for these people. So I do think, again, it's one of those ones that's ripe for a film remake, because before it just got the miniseries treatment. So given a bigger budget and stuff, I think this could be a really cool film. It's got Lewis Pullman, who's Bill Pullman's son, in it. Mackenzie Lee, Spencer Treat Clark. He was in the Last House on the Left remake. William Sadler. I mean, he's just a veteran. I love him in Demon Knight. Alfre Woodard, that's it. She's playing Dr. Cody. That's the one that they gender swapped. But in this case, I really think it was the right decision to make, because, you know, Stephen King, dude, the book's a sausage fest. So, you know, getting a little more estrogen up in there is probably going to do it some good. Anyway, I'm excited to see this. A cousin of mine saw the first 15 minutes. I can't remember. Some kind of film festival. He said it looked great. So it has that going for it. And the reason it was pushed off, because it was supposed to come out last year, the reason it was pushed off had nothing to do with the quality of the movie. Sometimes a studio will push things back because they're nervous that it's not going to play well, or they're nervous about what the competition is. And in this case, I believe the studio was HBO, and because of the writer's strike, they didn't have anything special to release in 2024 for streaming. So they took Salem's Lot from its theatrical release slot, and they're popping it onto streaming. So this is more akin to like what's going on with Warner Brothers, how they were not going to release the Wile E. Coyote Acme movie because they wanted to do a tax write-off, which thankfully that got turned around. But this is just business people making stupid business decisions. The movie itself, from what I understand, is supposed to be very good. That's why they're moving it, because they want to support their streaming service. But honestly, the streaming services, I feel like they're not doing horror movies a lot of favors right now. Oh no, my ghost face is out of soda. Oh, it's time to switch to wine. Well, we're not going to put wine in the ghost face soda cup. That's not ladylike. Oh no. Okay, good. I touched things and I was worried I was going to break all the things. Don't want to break all the things. Especially not in front of my tarantulas. They'll lose all respect for me. Okay. All right. So that's my thoughts on Salem's Lot. What do you guys think about Salem's Lot? That's going to be streaming on HBO Max, from what I understand. I would love to see it in the cinema. I hope they change their mind. You know, Evil Dead Rise was supposed to come out straight to streaming last year, and there was enough fan interest in it that it got a theatrical release. I hope they change their mind. I want to see Salem's Lot in the cinema. So, Brandon says, The Northman didn't really land with me, but it was pretty good. Alex Skarsgård was jacked. Dude, that guy is jacked. Like, Skarsgård's, dude. I don't know what they're feeding them over there, but something good. The idol was sleazy and gross. Yeah, I didn't see it, but I watched a lot of funny videos about it on YouTube. Daniel, you make very astute points, my husband. He says, Yogurt Hosters was fine, but where's Moose Jaws? Where's Moose Jaws? So the problem with that is Kevin Smith had a heart attack, which obviously that's life-changing. And it made him reflect a lot, and so he ended up doing the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. You know, I think he just wanted to work with his friends and stuff. But I feel like in all of this, you know, touching with old friends and, you know, old projects and wanting to do things with his daughter, I feel like Moose Jaws has gotten lost in this. Like, I feel like Kevin Smith needs to remember that, you know, his one true purpose on this planet outside of making Clerks is to bring us Moose Jaws and Tusk, which he already gave us Tusk. So you're almost there, buddy. You're almost there. Yikes! Mia Goth! Honey! Stop taking interpersonal advice from your husband. All right. Torchbearer. To be fair, some people would pay a lot of money to get kicked in the head by Mia Goth. Some people, including me. Absolutely. As long as she's not wearing heels. Fairpoint says, skeptical of Extra's claims because he also said the dried blood on his robe injured him when he removed the robe. Sounds pretty cash grabby. I would definitely be suspicious of that. Ariel, Scooby-Doo Holiday Haunt was canceled, and from what I understand, they finished that. So that's a bummer. Then they also had issues last year with Scooby-Doo and Crypto too, but there was like a leak or something, but it did finally get released. It was okay. And then, yeah, then there's the Scooby-Doo Holiday Haunt, which is like a sequel to Scoob, from what I remember, maybe. Anyway, I hope it gets released. Mommy, you're not old. You're just, I don't know, mummified. Me too, Jason. You know what? 30 Days of Night is good. That's one. I need to do more reviews. I need to get back into that. I'm kind of getting back into things. I feel like I've got some wind in my sails. So I have big plans this year. Big plans in my writing life. I've been working on a book for a while. I'm finally making a lot of progress on that. So I'm excited about that. And I've got big plans for the channel. Here I am streaming, baby steps. But 30 Days of Night is one I'd love to talk to you guys about sometime. I love that movie. I think it's so good. It's one of those few movies that I feel perfectly encapsulates what the graphic novel did. I even like the sequel. Dark Days was really good. I have the first 3 signed by the author and the artist in hardback. I'll show those to you guys sometime. They're really beautiful. I love those graphic novels and the movie. The novel, oh my God, Brewster! What? Danny, your dog is outside the door and he's crying. Come get him. Alrighty. The novel of Salem's Lot is awesome. It needed more female empowerment. I think that's the thing, because for me, especially with a lot of King stuff, I started reading Stephen King pretty young. And the stories I connected to, the first one was Carrie, the ones that had female characters in. And that's just natural because I think everybody wants to see themselves reflected in the fiction that they're consuming. So I love Firestarter, and even Cujo had a kid in it. I read it for the first time when I was, pretty young. But Salem's Lot, I just felt like being a woman, it didn't have a lot for me in it. Not any characters that I could really connect with. But it is spooky, and it definitely has that going for it. Except Shudder. I'm not sure what that's referencing, but I do love Shudder, and that's where you find Joe Bob. Would you like some cheese with that wine? No. Yeah, if you have cheese, then you got to have crackers. So it's just an endless cycle. Red wine is spooky juice. Red wine is good. Haunted by Horrors here. Kevin, he says, hope everybody is having a good night. I'm about to drive, so I won't be in the chat, but I'm listening. Well, thanks, Kevin. I really liked Evil Dead Rise. Like I said before, next week over on Horror Addicts, Danny and I are going to be listing our favorite movies of the year for 2023. And then over here, we're going to be talking about the worst ones of the year. Destroy All Neighbors came out on the 12th. I'll be checking that out tonight. That one is on my list too. So let's go check that out. Here we go. That one I saw a trailer for recently on Shudder. It just came out on Shudder. And it's directed by Josh Forbes. He did the Contracted Phase 2 movie. Who wrote this puppy? Who wrote it? Let's see. It was written by like 3 people. I don't know what else they did. Anyway, Destroy All Neighbors. It's a horror comedy. It's on Shudder now. I do really want to see this. It says, a struggling progressive rock musician finds himself in a living nightmare when he accidentally kills his neighbor from hell. Based on the trailer for this one, it looked pretty gory and funny. And with Shudder, I mean, I have a Shudder subscription, guys. It's $4.99 a month. And you can get a free trial. So Shudder is well worth the cost of the subscription. And since I'm already subscribed, like this is a no-brainer. I'm gonna stream it. It looks like a lot of the people I follow on Letterboxd. By the way, if you do want to follow me on Letterboxd, there is a link in the doobly-doo down below. I always like to see what my friends on Letterboxd are watching, and you can see what I'm watching, and I try to review everything I watch on Letterboxd, but I watch a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff. In fact, this year I want to start doing, at least once a month, doing a stream where I talk about all the things I'm watching on TV and movies, video games I'm playing, books I'm reading, just all the horror. Mummy read Salem's Lot when it first came out. That's awesome. Mr. Flickster met Kevin Smith at a fan expo in Toronto. He seems really nice. Have I seen Whiteout with Kate Beckinsale? I vaguely remember seeing that, and I've already forgotten it, but it was a long time ago. My first novel was Carrie 2. I love the films Carrie, Christine, Cujo, and Dolores Claiborne. Yeah, I love Cujo. I think Cujo is really underrated. I love Carrie. I love Christine. There's a lot of Stephen King ones I like. I love Pet Sematary. I think that's one of the scariest ones. My favorite Evil Dead movie? It's usually a toss-up between Evil Dead 2 and Army of Darkness. They switch back and forth a lot, and I love the remake, but honestly, all the Evil Dead movies are like A movies. They're awesome. So, and they're all great. Yeah, I think I follow you on Letterboxd, Mr. Flickster. So, Jason says, if you subscribe to AMC Plus for $11 a month, you get Shudder, BBC, and the IFC Film Channel. So that's a really good deal. And the horror book you haven't got is the Final Girl Support Group. So that was written by Grady Hendrix, who's one of my favorite authors. He also did Horror Store, which I think that's going to be a series or TV movie this year. He did My Best Friend's Exorcism, and he wrote last year How to Sell a Haunted House, which that was my favorite book of last year. It was really good. Yeah, I follow you on there too, Robin, but if you guys follow me on Letterboxd and for whatever reason I don't follow you, just, I don't know, message me or something and let me know. Slide into them DMs. Usually better to try and get me on Instagram because I have been using the X as of late. Alright, so what is on my list that we haven't talked about a lot yet? The talking. Here's one that just got a trailer. So have you guys heard about The First Omen? I am a big fan of the Omen movies. I think the original Omen is one of the best horror movies of all time. I love it. To me, it's not just one of the many exorcism movies that came out after The Exorcist. I really like The Omen. I think it's really special. I like The Omen 2 a lot. Omen 3, meh. The Omen 4, I like. I have the whole box set, thanks to Mummy B Movie, right? Yeah. So, yeah, I like the Omen movies. Yeah, even though I'm not a big possession, exorcism type person, I love The Exorcist, and I love me some Omen movies. So, the one I didn't like was the remake. The remake, eh. But I feel so like they did the remake just to cash in on it being the 6th of June in, I think, 2006 is what it was. It's sounding fuzzy. Hello? Hello. Okay, so I have unplugged and replugged in my microphone. I also ended up unplugging and replugging in my camera. Hopefully it's all good. So I can't remember what I was saying. Well, I don't know what I was saying when it went out because I don't know when it started glitching. Okay. Let me know if it cuts out again. I'm having all the technical difficulties today, but hopefully it sounds good now. I'm going to play around with my settings a bit when the stream's over just because, I don't know, my setup's all messed up. Anyway, so what I was telling you guys about was The Omen. I really like the entire Omen series minus the remake, which is right, yeah. And I love the original Omen. It's one of my favorites. So the first Omen, it did release a trailer, and I like that it didn't show too much. It says here on Letterboxd, when a young American woman is sent to Rome to begin a life of service to the church, she encounters a darkness that causes her to question her own faith and uncovers a terrifying conspiracy that hopes to bring about the birth of evil incarnate. So if you've seen The Omen, the story of that one is you have this American ambassador who I think he's in Rome. I don't remember exactly, but he's in some church, out in the middle of nowhere, and his baby is stillborn. And they say, hey, you lost a child, and a baby here lost its mother. So why don't we just not tell your wife and you raise this baby like your own? And he does. He finds out much later that they killed his baby, and the baby he took home was birthed by a jackal. So that's where I get a little confused here, because it seems kind of like the first Omen might be the story of how Damien was born. So, I mean, it could still be that way. I mean, what if this woman turns into a jackal at the end? She's like some kind of were-jackal, and then she bursts a Damien? That would be pretty rad. I don't know. I'm curious to see how it all ties in with the original Omen. As long as they don't change the backstory at all, I think that would be really cool. I think, from what I understand, the priest in this one is supposed to be the same priest who is in that Omen movie, Father Brennan. And you've got Bill Nighy in here, who was in Shaun of the Dead. And, yeah, I mean, it looks pretty good. The trailer is interesting because it's all, like, shown with everyone walking backwards and the music's all backwards. And then if you watch it until the end, you hear, like, this backwards talking. And okay. Hello. Okay. Let me know how that sounds. I can't log in and out of StreamYard because I'm not using StreamYard. I'm using my own OBS. I'm not sure what's going on with my sound. Anyway, hopefully it's plugged in a better slot now. I had it originally plugged in a different place. I just got to reconfigure it. I am so sorry. Hopefully the sound is better. Let me know how that sounds. Is it still scratchy at all? Tightening this up some more. That. Is it better? Okay, hopefully that sounds good. Hopefully you heard everything I wanted to say. It's not better. I have one more option. Oh no, I had another one and now I don't. Because I gave it to my son. I can use my headset. It's better? Okay. Okay, hopefully that's good. Okay, we are done talking about the Omen. You know what? The Omen cursed my stream because we were doing great with the audio. And then it got bad. Let me know if you can hear me okay. Okay, what are we going to talk about next? I'm just going to go down the list now. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Before the Mask. No, I'm not going to ASMR the stream. Brandon. Okay. Before the Mask, have you guys seen Beyond the Mask with, well, we were talking about the Omen. Just the gist of that, if you didn't hear me, is just, I think the first Omen sounds good. But now we're going to talk about Before the Mask. That one is supposed to be the sequel or maybe prequel to Behind the Mask, the Leslie Vernon story. If you've seen that, it's kind of like a meta slasher type movie. It's a college student for her documentary. There is a local legend about this man in a mask, and she knows where he lives, and she makes a documentary about him because he believes that he is an honest to goodness supernatural slasher like Jason, like all those guys that like he can't die and all this stuff. And half the movie is this documentary, and in the second half it becomes like a legitimate slasher movie. It's really, really good. And they've been talking for forever about a prequel or a sequel. This is a prequel. And supposedly 2024 is the year it's happening. We finally have a year. We don't have a date beyond that. It does have Nathan Basil in it, who played Leslie Vernon. I'm looking to see if anybody else from Behind the Mask is in it. Kane Hodder's supposed to be in it. That makes me excited. Kane Hodder. Interestingly, it has Ted White cast, so they must have already filmed a lot of this because, unfortunately, I believe Ted White passed away. I could be wrong, but yeah, he passed away in 2022. So they must have already filmed at least some of this movie because he passed away in 2022. Warrington Gillette is in it. Not my favorite Jason. He did a few parts in Friday the 13th Part 2. Who else is in this? Kate Miner's in it. Yeah, so there's... Oh, and Ari Lehman. He's the first Jason. So we got a lot of Jasons in this movie. We did talk about that, Mr. Flickster. And Leslie Vernon is amazing. I used to make everyone I know watch that movie, as you should. So I am really excited that Ted White is in this. I'm really excited that Nathan Basil's in it. He made that movie work. I mean, it's such a low budget movie, but he is so charismatic, and he sells the character of Leslie Vernon in the comedic moments, and he sells him as a terrifying slasher villain. I still think, you know, as much as I know that movie is pretty popular amongst the horror community, I still think it's really underrated. Because whenever I talk to people who are not big horror fans, they've never seen it. So I love that movie. I have been really waiting for this prequel for so long. I hope it finally comes out, just like this, and I think Trick or Treat 2. I've been waiting for that one for frickin' ever, and they've been teasing that one a lot recently too. But this one has a date. This one has a year. So Brandon says a lot of anniversaries this year. Mean Girls, The Lion King, The Neverending Story is getting a release this July for 40 years. Do you enjoy the film? The Neverending Story, I have met a few people in the movie. That one is just not one. It's as special to me as it is to a lot of other people, but I do like it. Other anniversaries, Black Christmas turns 50 this year, so I want to do something special on this channel for Black Christmas because that's one of my favorites. Texas Chainsaw Massacre turns 50 this year, and interestingly enough, they were both released on October 11th. Same day, same year, 1974. Those movies both turned 50. Nightmare on Elm Street turns 40 this year, which is pretty incredible. The original Saw from 2004 turns 20 this year. So a lot of really big anniversaries, a lot of really important movies. Another one is Shaun of the Dead, also turns 20 this year. So that's pretty cool. And my son also turns 20 this year. So there's that. Lots of big anniversaries. Really excited about that. Let's see what else is on my list. What else you guys are excited for? This one I don't want to go into too much detail about, but there is another In Search of Darkness documentary. I think they did a whole bunch of ones in the 80s. Now they're going to do one on the first half of the 90s. So I've really enjoyed all of those. Let's talk about Terrifier 3. Hopefully my audio is still holding up. I'm a little nervous now. So Terrifier 3, the original Terrifier was kind of a hidden gem that I think a lot of horror fans enjoyed and loved and talked about, but it wasn't like a mainstream movie. And I think what was really special about Terrifier 2 was it got a theatrical release and mainstream audiences liked it too, which is pretty cool because those movies are really gory, incredible practical effects. But I'm glad that a lot of mainstream audiences are enjoying it, and hopefully that means it's going to be Terrifier 3 is going to be released on more screens. It's supposed to come out this October, which is interesting because it's going to be a Christmas one. But I'm excited, and I think the biggest reason I'm excited for Terrifier 3 is Terrifier 2 really built up this lore. You know, you got the little ghost girl, and there's all this his connections to his final girl, and it didn't answer all those questions. It left a lot of open-ended questions, especially with the ending. There were some really bizarre things that happened. But I feel like Damien Leone knows what he's doing, and I am really excited to get some of those answers and, you know, learn even more about this character. And it says, I have an itch. After the bloody events of Terrifier 2, Art the Clown once again returns to Miles County, setting to unleash chaos on the unsuspecting residents of the town as they peacefully drift off to sleep on Christmas Eve. And the teaser for that was pretty intense. Like, no one is safe. Here's another one I'm really excited about is The Wolfman. I am a big Universal Monsters fan, and Wolfman is, of course, one of the great classics. They've been talking about this one for a while. I know for a while there, Ryan Gosling was supposed to be in it. I don't know if he still is. He's not listed on the cast for this, but it is directed by Leigh Whannell, who did Upgrade, and he tackled another Universal Monster movie when he did The Invisible Man. And I really like how creative he was in reinventing that and retelling the story. This one, I know they're modernizing it. I've heard more about it. There's not a lot of information here on Letterboxd, but I believe Christopher Abbott is playing the Wolfman. He was in Piercing, and I think he was also in The Possessor. That's right, and It Comes at Night. He's really good. Yeah, he is in Piercing, and he was in Poor Things, which I haven't seen yet, but he's great. So, and he kind of looks like Lon Chaney Jr., so that works. Looks really good. So that's one I'm highly anticipating. Let me know what you guys think in the chat. Mr. Flixer says it's exciting to see potential new horror movie franchises being spawned like Terrifier and Talk to Me. Talk to Me is also supposed to get, I think, a couple sequels. I'm not sure I get the Talk to Me hype. I do agree that it had good effects and it was scary, and I think it had some good themes in it, but I don't know. I really, really, truly despised the main character. And for me, that kind of ruined the movie. I liked it. I gave it 3 stars, but I wasn't like blown away by it like everyone else was. Hey, Horror Den, I'm doing pretty good. We're talking about movies. Okay, what else? What else do I want to talk about? Oh yeah, I do have Smile too on here. So Parker Finn, did he do the last one? He did, and he did Laura Hasn't Slept, which is the short film that kind of unleashed everything. Naomi Scott is supposed to be in this. She was Jasmine in the live action Aladdin. She was in Charlie's Angels. But I do like that we see Kyle Gallner listed here. He played Joel in the last one. I hope he has, we follow his character in Smile too. I think that would be the best way to go. But I mean, the fact that he's even in it, I think is pretty cool. So I'm excited for Smile too. Smile, the original Smile, it looked like one of those kind of Blumhousey, it looked almost like Truth or Dare or that kind of movie. And I was really surprised by it. I thought it was really good. What's this movie? Have you guys heard about Crawlers? That's going to be a zombie movie. I don't know. I haven't decided on that one. Here's one I'm excited for, The Crow. So I just did a watch party of The Crow yesterday here on the channel. The Crow remake is set this year. It's directed by Rupert Sanders, who hasn't done a whole lot. He did Snow White and the Huntsman and that Ghost in the Shell remake. So that's not making me super excited. But from what I understand, with this one that's also based on the graphic novel by James O'Barr, is they're going to try to show more of Eric and Shelley before she was killed. And Shelley was a really cool character. We don't see a lot of that in The Crow, but I mean, she died because she was advocating for the people in her building for the horrible living situations they were in, even though she knew that the people who ran that building were really scary and that was putting her life in danger. I mean, she's a heroic character in her own right. She's helping take care of this little, 13-year-old girl whose mom's a drug addict and giving her a safe place to stay and feeding her and being her friend. So I would love to see more Shelley. Shelley's going to be played by FKA Twigs. Haven't seen her in anything else, but, I'm down to see what she does with the character. And yeah. Danny Houston, who was in 30 Days of Night's going to be in it, so that's pretty cool. I think he's doing the top dollar role, but I'm not sure. Anyway, I mean, you can't replace the original. I don't expect it to. I hope that this will just be another adaptation of that graphic novel. That's what I'm going to go into this as. I do like City of Angels. Really hate Wicked Prayer. It's got to be better than Wicked Prayer, right? I think Salvation was okay. So, but mostly I'm excited because Bill Skarsgård is really, like I mentioned earlier, he's really talented. He's talented at acting through makeup. He's great at a physical performance. So I think he's going to do a good job. What do you guys think of Saw 11? So Saw 10 I thought was pretty surprising. That came out last year. I think they had a clever way of giving us another movie with Jigsaw. And I was pleasantly surprised. I know this one's supposed to continue off of that last one. The same villain from the last one will return. From what I understand, the next one's going to be a trilogy kind of set in that time period. I really hope they bring the little boy back because he was super cute. Yeah, I'm excited. I'll see it for sure. Cuckoo, directed by Tillman Singer, who also did Lose. That was on Shudder a while back. Yeah, I agree, Jason. Bill Skarsgård is an underrated actor. Which sequel had Angel in it? That's Wicked Prayer. It's also got Eddie Furlong in it. If we ever do a watch party for that one, it's going to have to be like a review or something because that movie is so bad. So terrible. So there's this movie, Cuckoo. It's also got Dan Stevens in it, so he's going to be in a couple movies this year. I have heard that this one's going to be really scary, so this is one to have on your radar. It says, on a trip to the German Alps with her father and stepmother, Gretchen discovers that the resort town where they're staying at hides sinister secrets, and she's plagued by strange noises and frightening visions of a woman pursuing her. I'm kind of curious. There's also a book called Cuckoo coming out this year, but they're not giving us a lot of details. I mean, one thing with it being called Cuckoo, that already brings a lot of creepy things to mind. I don't know if you guys know a lot about like birds, but cuckoos are so creepy. They will take their eggs and they will put them in the nests of other birds. They'll kill the other birds' babies, replace them with their own eggs, and let that bird raise their baby. It's really disturbing. So I think it being called Cuckoo, we can expect some pretty disturbing stuff in this movie. And it's supposed to be, like I said, really scary. Beetlejuice 2. Who's excited for Beetlejuice 2? Mr. Flixer says, Saw is one of my favorite franchises. The last three were disappointing, but Saw X was amazing. I agree. Like, I was surprised to get all the feels watching a Saw movie. But Beetlejuice 2, we got Michael Keaton back. We got Winona Ryder back. We got Jenna Ortega in it. We got Catherine O'Hara back. We get Willem Dafoe. Honestly, so far, this sounds great. They've been talking about this movie for so long. I'm going to try to go into it with reasonable expectations. But I think I'm just going to be happy to see these characters again. I think I'll be happy with just about anything. Emma Tammy is also making another movie. She just came out with... what is the name of the movie she just released that everyone's talking about? I haven't seen it yet. She didn't direct it. She wrote it. Dang it. Well, maybe I'm wrong. Oh, Emma Tammy. No, I'm thinking of a different one. Emma Tammy did Five Nights at Freddy's. Okay, I'm thinking of a different director. So Emma Tammy is coming out with a movie called Dollhouse. So she did Five Nights at Freddy's last year, which means she's probably not doing the next Five Nights at Freddy's. This is supposed to be a psychological thriller in the spirit of Black Swan, set in the upper class of New York City's fashion scene. Well, I don't know. Maybe I'll see that. There's also Quiet Place Day One. I know a lot of people are really excited for that. I honestly, I'm kind of meh on the whole thing. I really like A Quiet Place. I thought the sequel was okay. I think the only thing that's really interesting about this one is it shows you the beginning of that outbreak. But I'll be honest, I have seen so many of these kind of bird boxy type movies. It really needs to do something special, I think, to stand out. Even the last one, I don't think really did enough to justify its existence, even though I know everybody loved it. It does have Lupita in it from Black Panther and Us. She's terrific. It's got Alex Wolff in it. It's got a great cast. I just hope it's really good. Grady Hendrix did write the movie Satanic Panic. Amaze! Brandon the Beldam says, I hope they open Beetlejuice 2 with his number being called in the waiting room after 30 years. Brilliant! Yes! Give this man a job. Brilliant. Mr. Flixer, you didn't even like A Quiet Place. I mean, at the time when A Quiet Place came out, it was at least somewhat original, but even the book I'm reading right now is a lot like Bird Box and that kind of thing. I'm kind of just tired of the whole concept, but I will see it. So, Ishana Night Shyamalan, M. Night's daughter, is making a movie, and she's had some practice. And she worked with her dad on Old. I'm really excited to see what she does. She's got a movie out this year called The Watchers. It says, when Mina, a 28-year-old artist, finds shelter after being stranded in an expansive, untouched forest in Western Ireland, she unknowingly becomes trapped alongside three strangers that are watched and stalked by mysterious creatures each night. That kind of sounds like a lot of those movies, too. But we got Dakota Fanning in it. Georgina Campbell. I love her. She was on Barbarian. And Black Mirror. So I like the cast, and I'm just really excited to see what M. Night Jr. does. So let's give her a chance, guys. Let's go check it out. What else is coming out? If you guys like no worries. Good night, Ariel. If you guys like Let the Right One In, the guy who wrote that also wrote a book called Handling the Undead, which is getting a movie this year. The description for that one is, on an abnormally hot summer day in Oslo, a strange electric field surrounds the city as a collective migraine spreads across town and the newly deceased awake from the dead. So this is kind of his take on the zombie genre. I really like Let the Right One In. Like I said, it's from the same author. So I probably want to read the book beforehand, but I'm going to give that a shot. Let's see what else. Do you guys have... Toxic Avenger came out last year, and that got a limited release. So I'm hoping it gets a wide release this year. You've got Elijah Wood in there playing the bad guy. Peter Dinklage being the Toxic Avenger. That sounds amazing. And then the early reviews I'm seeing from people like Joe Lynch look fantastic. So I need this in my life. It's got Kevin Bacon in it. I just need it. I need to see it now. It's got Lloyd Kaufman in it. But yeah, Joe Lynch used to work for Troma, and he gave it, 4 stars. So it's got to be good. It's got to be good. What else? There's a movie called Infested. Can't remember what country this one's from. Let me find out. It's French. So there's a French movie called Infested. And it came out in France last year, but we're supposed to get it for a wide release this year. And I'm so excited to see this one. One, because the early reviews for it are fantastic. So the French audiences loved it. But I'm really excited because it's about spiders. And we don't have nearly enough spooky spider movies. And I have a lot of spooky spiders that want to be represented in film. So this movie is called Infested. Hopefully we get a wide release this year. It says Caleb is about to turn 30. He's never been lonelier. He's fighting with his sister over their inheritance and has cut ties with his best friend. He needs some spiders is what he needs. So passionate about exotic animals, he comes home one day with an unusual spider, sounds like me, and accidentally lets it slip away. Have not done that. Be more responsible with your pets, Caleb. Soon, his underprivileged suburb is thrown into chaos. Thrown into chaos as the deadly arachnids multiply. Oh, they didn't have babies. Ordered to be placed under quarantine, the project's inhabitants are forced to live in lockdown alongside terrifying spiders that are becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. That sounds amazing. I think I liked Itsy Bitsy, but I mean, there's Itsy Bitsy, there's Arachnophobia. There are not enough good spider movies. There's Eight-Legged Freaks. And there's not only not enough spider movies, there are not enough spider movies that are really actually scary. This one's supposed to be very scary. So far, it's got a 3.5 average on Letterboxd. I think it sounds really, really good. So this one's called Infested. French horror there, Jason. So add that to your watch list. I'll put marzipan in your pie plate bingo. Another movie that came out last year. What country did this come from? This one is from Canada, but it's French-Canadian. It came out last year, but it should get a wide release this year. I do know a few people who saw it at the Canadian Film Festival. But this is Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. That is a mouthful of a title, but it kind of gives you everything you need to know. This vampire just doesn't want to hurt anybody, so she's asking for somebody who already wants to commit suicide to volunteer their blood. It says Sasha is a young vampire with a serious problem. She is too sensitive to do the killing. So when her exasperated parents cut off her blood supply, Sasha's life is in jeopardy. Then she meets Paul, a lonely teenager with suicidal tendencies, good band, who is willing to give his life to save hers. But their friendly agreement soon becomes a nocturnal quest to fulfill Paul's last wishes. So it sounds like she's helping Paul tack off all the things on his bucket list so she can eat him. And I don't know. I haven't seen this movie. I'm getting nice guy energy vibes from Paul. I feel like he's just into her and he's coming up with these things maybe to make it last longer, like his time with her before he has to like sacrifice himself. But the reviews for this are pretty good. The people who've seen it at the film festival, it's got a 3.8 right now. I think it was at TIFF last year. It sounds really good. It sounds like my kind of movie. So that one more time with the long title, Humanist Vampire Seeking Consenting Suicidal Person. So, yeah. Mr. Flickster loves Lavalantula. All right, I think I'm getting towards the end of my list. There was a trailer for Founders Day. Who saw that? This one's directed by Eric Bloomquist. I have not seen his other movies, but it seems like this was kind of on the heels of Thanksgiving. So now they're doing another holiday themed one. A lot of times when movies do that, it doesn't always produce the best results. But I will say the trailer looked pretty good. I like the mask on our killer. But this does seem like something that was maybe rushed out to capitalize on the success of Thanksgiving last year, or Thanksgiving. Which one was it? I think it was called Thanksgiving. Anyway, so not high hopes, but I'll check it out because it's a slasher movie, and I tend to like slasher movies. What else we got? Now, somebody mentioned this earlier. This is actually one of my most anticipated of the year, too. Vampire version of Harold and Maude. I love that, Spooky Robin. Robin, you mentioned this earlier. Late Night with the Devil. This one sounds really, really good. This is one of my most anticipated. Now, this one did come out at film festivals last year, but I want a wide release this year. It stars David Dastmalchian. God, I butchered that. But he was Polka Dot Man in the Suicide Squad. He had a small appearance in The Boogeyman. He's been in a lot of horror movies. He's really, really talented, really good. I apologize for not saying his name correctly. But he hosts a late night talk show and says the live television event that shocked a nation. A live broadcast of a late night talk show in 1977 goes horribly wrong, unleashing evil into the nation's living room. So this kind of makes me think of something like Ghost Watch, which was a TV movie back in the UK back in the day. There's even one called The Cleansing Hour that it came out, I think, on Shudder a few years back. And then there's a book called Head Full of Ghosts. There's a lot of things that are kind of similar to this, but this looks like it's being done with a very serious tone. And the early reviews are saying that this is really creepy, really scary. I think anything that can kind of maybe feel like it's breaking that fourth wall and coming into your living room, that's getting you while you're watching it, some movies have that quality to them. For me, at the end of Paranormal Activity, when she looks right at the camera, that part creeps the hell out of me. It kind of breaks that fourth wall and just makes you feel like you're being looked at. From what I understand, this movie has that quality about it. It has that really like get you where you're sitting vibe to it, and it's supposed to be really scary and very well acted. So that's Late Night with the Devil. I really want to see that this year. Mr. Flickster Love Totally Killer. Yeah, and by the way, these are all on my watch list, and after this, I'm going to make public my anticipated for 2024. So if I mention any movies and you want the titles or whatever, follow me on Letterboxd. Very easy to find me, letterboxd.com/Gory B Movie. You can look at my watch list. I'll follow you back, and then I'll stalk you and see all the things you're watching and rating and reviewing. It's going to give me crises because maybe I didn't rate it the same, and then I'm thinking, oh, was I being too hard on it? It's going to be a whole thing, but it's going to be a thing that we're doing together. So, it ain't all bad. What else? What else is on my list? I'm a big fan of Larry Fessenden. He did Habit, back in the day when he was really young. But what I like about Larry Fessenden, he's really stuck to being who he is. And he sticks to the independent stuff. He was in Stakeland. He's done a lot of really cool things. But he does have a werewolf movie that's supposed to come out this year called Blackout. I like Larry Fessenden. I feel like he is really committed to storytelling. Even though he never has a big budget to work with, I do feel like you get that sense of somebody who's a real storyteller coming through all his work. And it has an authenticity to it that we don't always see these days. It's got Alex Hurt in it. I don't know who this guy is, but he was in She Said? I don't know. It's got a really big cast of Barbara Crampton's in it. I love Barbara Crampton. So synopsis on this one is small town artist Charlie is a tortured man whose drinking binges blur with his sneaking suspicion that he might be a werewolf. He distances himself from those he loves and sinks deeper into solitude as his flashes of memory of his grisly nighttime acts manifest themselves through his artwork. So he's drawing the things that he's doing that he doesn't remember. And that, I think, so far is the most interesting part of it, because the rest of it is very, cut and paste werewolf movie. But Larry Fessenden is not a cut and paste guy. So, and I'm a sucker for werewolf stuff. So I'm going to give it a shot. I'm going to definitely watch it. He was also in, what was that movie? Jacob's Wife. He was so good in that. Awesome. Okay, are you guys getting bored yet? Hopefully not. I got a few more. Oh my goodness! So here's a movie I have been looking forward to for so long. And it finally got released at a festival last year. So this was a movie that Jordan Peele was producing, and I was super excited about it because James Marsters is in it. So James Marsters is Spike from Buffy, and I love Spike, and I love Buffy, and I love James Marsters. He just seems like a genuinely cool guy. This movie was made so long ago that it's got Sid Haig in it, who I've got to say is one of the nicest people I've ever met in person. He is truly, truly a sweetheart. It's got Robert Englund in it. It's got a lot of really cool people in it. I mean, Jordan Peele's also in it as a small role. What makes this movie really unique is it's all puppets, like marionettes, which I think are kind of creepy anyway. So the whole movie is portrayed by puppets. So if you've seen like something like, I think it's Thunderbirds, wasn't it? The old 70s show with the marionettes, or even Team Force America, like they're creepy anyway. They're already creepy. And now you're going to have them be characters in a horror movie. That's genius. That's freaking genius. I need to see this. So it's called Abruptio. It says everyone's a puppet. Les Hackle is a guy down on his luck who wakes to find an explosive device has been implanted in his neck. He must carry out heinous crimes in order to stay alive while trying to identify the mastermind manipulating the now twisted and strange world around him. So the concept is somewhat familiar. I remember I saw Guns Akimbo. I think that's what it was called. I've seen a few things kind of like that, but this is all puppets. And I've never seen a horror movie completely enacted by puppets. And Jordan Peele's involved, and he's a genius. So I have to see this. I have to see this now. Abruptio. And I just like saying Abruptio. Wiccabear saw it at Panic Fest 2023. So I bet that's going to get a wide release this year. One I just saw a trailer for that was made in 2022. Few people saw it at Fright Fest last year, but it is getting a wide release this year, is Here for Blood. I need to ask my husband, is Sean Roberts at all involved with wrestling? Is that a name you know? He knows wrestling. He would know. So this one sounds really, really good. I saw the trailer. You can look it up on YouTube. But this guy's girlfriend, it says she's swamped with college exams. So his name's Tom O'Bannon. He's a rowdy pro wrestler. So already if you watch the trailer, they're kind of doing like the Roddy Piper thing with him, but he's a pro wrestler, which I love because I married a pro wrestler. I love wrestlers. A lot of my good friends are wrestlers. So her boyfriend's a pro wrestler, and she asked him to babysit her I think it's her daughter, for one night. And she's like, hey, all you have to do is keep her alive for one night. Again, relatable. My husband, the pro wrestler, used to babysit my son all the time when I'd go play roller derby. So he thinks it's just going to be a quiet night of like pizza and board games. And then it says it spirals into a violent, bloody chaos as Tom and Grace, the little girl, find themselves fighting for their lives when this otherworldly cult of masked intruders descends on the home. And I've seen the trailer. They kind of look like they're worshipers of some kind of demonic entity. They're kind of like death metal makeup, like black metal makeup. But yeah, if you watch the trailer, there's just so many wrestling moves. So this movie combines like all the joy of watching wrestling, the cool moves, the quippy one-liners, and horror. Like, I love both of these things. Most people I know who like wrestling also like horror. It's genius. So I need to see this. We're getting this one very, very soon. It's called Here for Blood. Yes, my love, you are a pro wrestler. Ariel's back. What's up? Mr. Flickster Mitch, James Marsters at Comic-Con. I have heard from everyone who's met him that he is just the biggest sweetheart. And I've seen like his cameos. I just adore him. I love him. Pizza and board games. So Danny, are you excited for Here for Blood? I feel like this is right up your alley. I feel like you need to review this one on Horror Addicts. Oh no, Ariel, why are you crying? Did I miss something? Oh no, problems with your dad. Well, I hope things get better very soon. We're here for you. We got 2 movies by YouTubers. I'll be wrapping it up here real soon. I want to see Shelby Oaks, which is the movie directed by Chris Stuckman, the movie reviewer here on YouTube. This is going to be a paranormal type movie. I think it might be found footage. I'm not sure. Actually, maybe it's not. But it's that kind of movie about a paranormal investigation team researching like some dark legend. But I know how passionate Chris Stuckman is about film. I mean, you can hear it in every video he makes. He is so passionate. He's got such an eye for, cinema and for, all the things that make a great shot that I have faith in him. I think he's going to do a really good job. And of course I want to support him because I'm a big fan of his YouTube channel. So Shelby Oaks. And then Markiplier's making a movie. It had a little teaser trailer. It's called Iron Lung. And the teaser trailer for this one looked really good. This is why Markiplier didn't do a cameo on Five Nights at Freddy's, because he's making his own film. Also supposed to come out this year. So both of those look pretty good. I'm looking to see if there's anything else I've forgotten. There's a movie called Horoscope. Maybe. They're supposed to do a Fear Street 4 this year. I know the next Fear Street movie is supposed to be based on the Prom Queen book, which I remember really enjoying as a kid. Oz Perkins has got a movie called Long Legs coming out this year with Micah Monroe and Nicolas Cage in it. Those are both actors I like. It's got Alicia Witt in it. I like Oz Perkins. He did, Blackcoat's Daughter. He's done just lots of creepy stuff. But it says, FBI agent Lee Harker is a gifted new recruit assigned to the unsolved case of an elusive serial killer. And as the case takes complex turns, unearthing evidence of connections to occult practices, Harker discovers a personal connection to the merciless killer and must race again to stop him before he strikes again. So it doesn't sound like anything too original, but Oz Perkins, like if you've seen his movies, he's in his own realm. Like he's very unique, even when he takes concepts that you would consider to be very familiar, like when he did Gretel and Hansel or The Pretty Thing That Lives in the House. So I'm excited to see that movie just because I think he's really got a unique vision. Okay, what else? David F. Sandberg's coming back to horror this year. David F. Sandberg, he did Lights Out. He was doing he did Animal Creation, and then he took like a whole vacation over to superhero land, but he's coming back. He's coming back this year to do horror with a movie called Below. It says, fresh out of a spell in prison, a man attempts to set his life right by working a mysterious job that requires him to seek out life forms hidden amongst us. Like, I think that's really cool. It's produced by James Wan, which, I love Malignant. I love a lot of what James Wan does. I really like David F. Sandberg, and I know he's excited to return to horror, so I definitely want to support that. Torchbearer has the best cosplays. He just cosplayed as Roddy Piper. That's amazing. Ariel, I am so sorry, and I can totally relate. My sperm donor is much the same. Nightmare Files. Hey, how's it going? Brandon, I Like Scary, is working on his original Halloween fan film. Also, Brett James Bishop is doing a Halloween fan film. I did know about those, so I'm excited to see those. Yeah, and then also last year, Dylan's New Nightmare by Cecil Laird of The Horror Show came out. Very, very cool. Death Central, welcome. You probably already talked about it, but I can't wait for another Terrifier. Yes, we did talk about it, and I am so excited. Destination Station's working on a Scream prequel. I think that's awesome. Like, I support all these movies. I was a backer on Cecil's movie. And then, yeah, just a lot of these independent films I think are really great, especially when they're done by, fellow YouTubers. Let's see. Why did I add this one? Oh, I remember. There's a movie called All My Friends Are Dead. It's a slasher movie by Marcus Dunstan. He did The Collector and The Collector 2. He also did that one movie, Pilgrim. It was on, crap, the Hulu show. I can't remember the name of it right now. This one, it sounds like your typical slasher. A group of college friends get a steal on a killer A&B for the music festival of the year. A weekend of partying takes a turn for the worst as members of the group are murdered one by one. They soon discover that one of their deaths directly corresponds to one of the seven. Each of their deaths corresponds to the 7 deadly sins. Now, that's not super original. You're like, Gory, why are we talking about this? This is why we're talking about this. It's got JoJo Siwa in it. I have to see this. You know, JoJo Siwa, she, again, YouTube. She's adorable. She's got the bows and everything. I really like JoJo. I think she's really cute. And I love that she's doing a horror movie. So I have to see this. This sounds amazing. My thought on the Never Hike Alones. I haven't seen Never Hike Alone 2. I have the first one. I supported that one. I have it on Blu-ray. Never Hike Alone. And I liked the one that was in the snow. It was a little bit shorter. It was really good. So, I was frozen? Oh no. Let's see. Do I have any? I'm getting close to the bottom here. We've got Weapons. Some of these movies I just add on here because who is making them or who is in them. Like the last one, I need to see. I need to see a JoJo Siwa horror movie, guys. All right, that's something I didn't know. I needed in my life. It's being made. I'm gonna see it. This one is a Zach Krieger horror movie. So Zach Krieger did Barbarian. I love Barbarian. I'm still pissed that when Fox got bought out by Disney, they decided not to release that on Blu-ray, which just makes me so annoyed because I really, really want to own that one. And I refuse to buy it on digital until, I don't know, hopefully Scream Factory or somebody gets it. I love Barbarian. Anyway, that was made by Zach Krieger, who you might know from the Whitest Kid You Know. This movie is called Weapons. It's an interrelated, multi-story horror epic that revolves around the disappearances of high schoolers in a small town. So yeah, it sounds pretty simple, but it's Zach Krieger. I mean, if this is anything like Barbarian, which, you know, didn't look that insane when you watched the trailer or you read the synopsis, but that movie, like, it had so many twists and turns in it and was so good. I have high hopes for Weapons. I'll definitely be seeing this at the cinema. Hopefully it comes to cinemas. Okay, let's see here. We've got one. Oh no, we've got two more movies to talk about. Yes, Disney buying Fox. Well, see, this is a sign that I need to wrap it up because now I can't talk. Thank you. Killer Clowns. Hopefully we get this game this year. Hopefully they get that sequel eventually. Okay, so we got two more movies to talk about, and then we're going to wrap her up. Next one's called Stream. This is one I added to my list just because I love everybody who's in it, because just sometimes that's all it takes. That is literally all it takes. It's directed by Michael Levy. That's not a name I recognize, but he did do a movie called Abnormal Attraction that I did see, and that was really unique. And I mean, it was goofy, very low budget, but it was funny. Danny and I enjoyed it. This one says, put some skin in the game. When Roy and Elaine Keenan realize their family is drifting apart, they decide that something needs to be done. Roy forces his work to take a back seat, and they seize the opportunity to recreate a vacation from their past. A peaceful stay in a quaint hotel is just what they need. However, that's not what is in store for them. Four deranged murderers patrolling the seemingly mundane halls are definitely not in the Keenan family's favor. Roy must fight for his life and choose those of his family, fight for his life and those of his family, as their vacation becomes one to die for. So this one did have a trailer too. It looks really good. It looks really suspenseful. The father, the main character, is played by Jeffrey Combs, whom I adore. We also have Danielle Harris in this. She plays Elaine Keenan. Dee Wallace is in it. I love Dee Wallace. We have Felissa Rose in this. I love her. Daniel Roebuck's in it. He's been in tons of great movies, starting with Final Destination, which I really enjoyed him in. So many freaking Tony Todd's in this. Like, Howard Thornton's in this. Oh my God. Mark Holton from Leprechauns in this. That man is just such a sweetheart. I follow him on Instagram. He is a sweetheart. He's watched a couple of the streams here before. He is lovely. So yeah, a whole bunch of people I'm a big fan of are in this movie. I like the premise. The trailer looked really spooky. This is Stream. I am very excited to see this movie. Yeah, Death Central says Stream could be really good. I'm going to give it a chance, absolutely. If nothing else, because I want to support the talent that's in this film, because I'm big fans of all these people. Hey, thanks, Jason. And we've got Brandon Wayne Lewis here. Okay, we've got one more movie to talk about. Hopefully it's a good one. Which one is it? Yeah. Wait, they're going to make more than one horoscopes? That's a different thing. Looking at my list here. So the last one we're going to talk about is Humane. This one is by Caitlin Cronenberg. Okay. She is the youngest daughter of David Cronenberg. So his son, Brandon, has already made great movies. So I'm inclined to think that making great movies runs in the family. Because David Cronenberg, genius. Brandon Cronenberg, genius. He did, what was the name of the one last year? Damn it had Mia Goth in it and it was genius. Anyway, this is Humane by his daughter, Caitlin Cronenberg. It says, blood is thicker than water until the water runs out. In the wake of an environmental collapse that has forced humanity to shed 20% of its population, a family dinner erupts into chaos when a father's plan to enlist the government's new euthanasia program goes horribly awry. So this is like a little bit like The Purge, but that's messed up. So basically you have the whole country has a population problem and they have decreed that 20% of our population needs to get Thanos snapped. But we don't got no Thanos to do the snap in. So people in your family have to make the decision on whether or not they're going to follow this national decree. And it looks like the dad is, and he's going to euthanize people in his family, which is just insane. That's insane. But it sounds like it's going to, result in some great suspense and drama. Probably some really good body horror because, she's a Cronenberg. It's in her blood. So we've got, let's see who's in this. I can't pronounce his last name, but it's Jay Baruchel. I apologize if I said that wrong. He was in This Is the End and the How to Train the Dragon movies. He's pretty funny. Not that this is a funny movie, just first thought that came to mind. I don't recognize, Peter Gallagher's in this. I like Peter Gallagher, So, yeah. Don't recognize a lot of people in the cast, but the premise, with this one, it's all about the premise. I think the premise is really unique and creative. I'm all about supporting a first-time filmmaker. I'm all about supporting a female filmmaker, and I'm all about supporting a Cronenberg. So, yeah, we are pro-Cronenberg on this channel until Cronenbergs have given me a reason not to be pro-Cronenberg. Yeah. Infinity Pool. Thank you, Brandon. You got my back. And Horror Addicts, my husband. Thank you. Yeah, Infinity Pool, if you guys missed out on that one, it's really, really good. What was my favorite horror movie of 2023? I need to watch a few more on my watch list. I have like 4 or 5 I want to watch. But I'm going to leave you in suspense. So next week, guys, next Sunday, we're going to probably start a little bit earlier over on Horror Addicts. If you want to know my favorite movie of the year, Danny's favorite movie of the year, we're going to be talking about all of our favorites over on Horror Addicts. And actually, we're probably going to start on this channel with the ones we hated. So we'll start from every horror movie we watched, from our half-star movies up until our 2.5. And then we're going to head on over to Horror Addicts, or vice versa. I don't know how we're going to do it. And then we're going to do the 3 stars to 5 stars, and then naming our favorite movie of the year. So if you want to know the answer to that, please tune in next week. We'll hopefully have the events made soon. So it'll be on both Horror Addicts. So if you're not already subscribed to the channel that is our family, that my husband runs and is really awesome. My husband does lots of really cool reviews. We've done unboxings, and we just do like fun sketches and stuff. Definitely subscribe to that. You can go YouTube/Horror Addicts TV and you'll get there. And yeah, and then come back here because we're going to be talking about the worst movies of the year. And who doesn't like dunking on some movies? All right. Chris Snyder, hey, we did that Crow watch party yesterday, dude. We missed ya. Robin says, hoping Stream isn't counting star power to help out with a movie. I hope so too. But I mean, I do have to say it works because I'm going to go see it. All right, you guys got any movies you're anticipating that we didn't talk about, or anything you want to say before we call it a night? I'm going to go make sure that I got everything on my list while I wait for you. one more movie I didn't talk about. There's this movie. It's from Korea. And you know South Korea is great with horror, but this one's called Sleep. And this one, it got a limited release last year. I think that's why I forgot to mention it earlier. But I'm hoping it gets a wide release this year. But these newlyweds, her husband has a sleep disorder where he transforms into different people in his sleep. And so the wife has no idea who he's going to transform into. And they have a young baby, and she's terrified for the safety of their baby. So that sounds like a really interesting premise. That alone makes me excited to see that one. Are there any other ones I forgot or that I skipped over? Oh, there's a movie called Your Monster. I don't know much about this one, but it's directed by Caroline Lindy. This one is just the premise. But hey, Melissa Barrera's in it, so we've got to support this, guys. We've got to support Melissa Barrera. This one's called Your Monster. And the description is, after her life falls apart, soft-spoken actress Laura Franco finds her voice again when she meets a terrifying yet weirdly charming monster living in her closet. Sounds a little bit like what we were getting with Lisa Frankenstein, but instead of a undead guy, it's the monster in the closet, which that just sounds adorable. That sounds so adorable. So I'm definitely going to see Your Monster this year. I hope that gets a theatrical release. If you guys enjoyed that movie, we're all going to the World's Fair. I did not see that, but I know it was really popular with a lot of people. It's directed by Jane Schoenbrunn. I hope I said that right. I'm excited to see one because it's got Amber Benson, who played Tara in Buffy, in it. But they've got a movie coming out called I Saw the TV Glow. That sounds like it's going to be really creepy. It says, teenager Owen is just trying to make it through life in the suburbs when his classmate introduces him to a mysterious late-night TV show, a vision of a supernatural world beneath their own. In the pale glow of the television, Owen's view of reality begins to crack. That one stars Justice Smith. He's been in a lot of movies recently, like he was in the Lost World movies, he was in Detective Pikachu, Paper Towns. He's been in quite a few things. This one just sounds really, really creepy. Now, I didn't see the World's Fair movie, but I've heard that that one was really just kind of, you know, break your brain, creepy, kind of out there and really, really original. So I'm kind of hoping we get that with this. I do want to see that other movie before this one comes out, but I like this. I like original concepts. And I know a lot of you guys say in the chat, you know, I want more original horror movies. I don't want things that are just an IP. So when you guys see movies like this, like I Saw the TV Glow, put down your money. You see movies like Your Monster, original concepts, put down that money. You know, Cuckoo, we talked about a lot of them. Vote with your dollar because that's all studios care about. So if you're seeing this when it comes out in the theater, if you're seeing it when it comes out in streaming, if you're paying the money for these things, you'll get more of that. But if this year you only go to whatever Marvel movie comes out and you only go to the new Saw movie, that's what we're going to get more of. And we're going to get more of that anyway because that's what mainstream audiences are going to go to. But as horror fans, we got to look out for these indie movies. We got to look out for these little hidden gems that are coming out. So hopefully I've mentioned a few that you guys are excited about. Hopefully I've mentioned a few that you didn't hear about before. That you can add to your watch list. Again, you can follow me on Letterboxd. I have this entire list there. I'm going to make that public as soon as this is over. And just talk to me. I love talking about movies. Like, I never tire of talking about movies. So I'd love if you followed me on Letterboxd. I will follow you back. Let's talk movies. I'm excited. I think 2024 is going to be a really good year. I'm going to check in with you guys one more time in the chat, and then I'm going to call it a night. Oh, you caught the replay. Awesome. Oh, you were live at the same time. I'm so sorry, but I appreciate you catching it. I just saw your channel when we were watching Drum Dum stream the other day, so I'm excited to watch some of your content because it looks like we've got a lot of the same tastes. Thank you, Jason. I really appreciate you shouting out the likes and stuff because it really does help the channel. I did talk about the Witchboard remake. I am so happy. I mentioned earlier that they talk about a Wiccan artifact, so I got to go represent the Wiccans. Good night, Jason. Mayo bees? Huh? Yeah, lots. We talked about so many crazy movies. Lend you $1. I'll lend you $1, hon. Movie Massacre. Hey, everyone. I just finished golf with my dad. Hey, your dad's here. That's awesome. My good friend, the Movie Massacre. I had so much fun hanging out with you guys. Thanks for hanging out with me, talking some movies. Please join me next week, Sunday. Not sure exactly what time, because like I said, I'm doing 2 with Horror Addicts, but stay tuned. I'll create the event soon. Set your reminders, and I will see you then. And until we meet again, blessed be.